What is something that's considered normal today but is actually a successful propaganda made by corporations? Let me know in the comments below. People eating KFC during Christmas time in Japan because of KFC's marketing campaign that promoted their products as a traditional Western Christmas treat. Everything about wedding and engagement rings. Companies like Intuit have lobbied to make sure filing taxes can't be free and easy. That diamonds are forever, as in indestructible. Planned obsolescence. Sending your DNA in for sequencing is a fun and easy way to find out things about yourself. At least according to companies who contractually retain the rights to any and all findings. Don't give a shit about your medical privacy, and are constantly looking for ways to monetize that information. Terms of service agreements example: when you buy a phone, do you read all 30 pages of your service agreement letting you know that they have basically proprietary control over everything you say and do? Clovers being weeds. I read a while back that most weed killers can't differentiate between clovers and other weeds, they just kill all of them, so companies began emphasizing clovers as a weed so they could still sell their chemicals. I learned this fact on Reddit though, so take it with a grain of salt. Most products made for the care of babies. Babies need very little in the way of furniture, gear, special foods, etc. But people are so willing to buy so much stuff that it is okay to produce a ton of single-use packaging as long as you don't litter it. The way we celebrate holidays is much more of a production than it used to be. Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day. Just more excuses to consume crap en masse. Hot dogs, 6 bunsfuckers. Attaching health insurance to your job, and if you have a family and leave your job, you're fucked. Monoculture grass lawns. An entire nurdle of toothpaste on your brush. You don't need that much. A pea-sized amount will get your mouth plenty frothy and clean all your teeth fine. They just want you to think you need 4x as much so that you have to buy toothpaste 4 times as often. Politicians being a middleman for corporations to influence government policies, instead of middlemen for the people to influence government policies. Mother's Day. The original intent was to have a holiday to appreciate mothers. Corporations ended up making it a big money grab. And then the person who petitioned for Mother's Day spent the rest of their life trying to get the holiday removed. Immigrants are taking our jobs, instead of employers seeking to pay criminally low wages to people with fewer choices. Dandelions are weeds. They're actually very nutritious and great for pollinators. Big grass are a bunch of dickheads. Merch drops, secret pop-up locations, limited runs, etc. These are just marketing tactics to create artificial scarcity and hype demand that wouldn't be there otherwise. Someone mentioning diamonds reminds me of chocolate. Diamonds. What are they in actuality? Industrial diamonds, if I remember correctly, that are more common and or less nice than normal rocks. But clever marketing has convinced some women that they're exotic. Commercials. They're everywhere. YouTube, TV, Hulu, Spotify, etc. The only way to get rid of commercials is to surprise, surprise, pay more, which is another commercial. Just now realizing that commerce is the basis of commercial law. That global warming is the responsibility of the individual and not about 100 corporations. Referring to insurance as healthcare, insurance companies do not provide healthcare. They have inserted themselves as middlemen. Physicians, nurses, etc. provide healthcare. Insurance provide payment for costs that are inflated because insurance companies provide payment that you need to drink milk in order to get calcium. Calcium is a mineral and can be found in leafy greens and broccoli, to name a couple. The whole "Got milk?" campaigns and all that were funded by the dairy industry. Pretty successful propaganda. That the McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit was frivolous. I think I heard the food pyramid is a scam. Ask your doctor if JDGYRHKX is right for you. WTF, isn't that his job? I don't ask my mechanic or plumber if I need a certain product. Pharmaceutical marketing is a total rouse. Diamonds. Real men eat meat. That cost of printer ink. Apple. Whoever is behind the Apple marketing campaign is a genius in flooding the consumers with propaganda. There's no real correlation between how many apples you eat each a day and how often you visit the doctor or get sick. Carrots helping you see in the dark was WW2 propaganda to confuse the Germans. Here is a good article all about it. Working 5 days a week for 8 hours a day and still not being able to afford necessities. Jaywalking. Jaywalking, or jaybirds, was a derogatory term coined by automobile manufacturers to get pedestrians off of the road so more cars would sell. Buying a diamond ring when you propose. Credit ratings. The whole work grind and everything associated with it. 40-plus hour work week. Health insurance tied to it. The need for daycare. Time spent commuting. How did all that ever become normal? You should pay off debt by getting more debt. Quote. Online privacy. Hustle culture. How about the fact the corporate propaganda has made millions upon millions of people insecure about their looks, salary, car, fucking coffee brand? Right now I am going to focus on looks. As I work as a photographer, it is fucking awful hearing 100 times a day, "Can you Photoshop me thin, make my nose smaller, lips bigger, etc., etc., etc." And that's only if they have the guys to see me in the first place. So many people don't even show up because they cannot stand the way they look and think other people shouldn't be burdened with their face. It breaks my heart. As someone who grew up with an eating disorder because I couldn't understand why I didn't look like all the people on TV. That shit is fucked. It looks like the industry is slowly starting to change. But they'll just find another thing to make us insecure about something. Freaking Valentine's Day. Makeup. It's absurd. Extremely expensive. Bad for the environment. Animals are severely damaged for it. I took care of a puppy that in from a cosmetic testing facility and she is so traumatized. And it costs billions of dollars in mental health problems. Never mind how deeply mentally harmful it is to humans. Women shaving their legs is a concept invented by Gillette. Logo t-shirts. The consumer literally pays to advertise a brand. Milk helps you grow strong. Questionable at best, definitely a thing due to a marketing campaign. Grass lawns. Imagine if everyone planted their own vegetables in their front yard instead. That in order to fix climate change we all just need to be correct our own carbon footprint. Sadly, no. This will take lobbying governments before the companies that are causing the vast majority of the damage actually do a goddamn thing. YouTube and Google front page ads. You don't need to give 2 weeks notice when quitting. You don't need to train your new replacement. You may request to both be paid and receive a consulting fee for training your replacement as well as working the job at the same time. If they refuse, then walk away. Screw them. You must receive raises that are greater than the inflation rate, or else you are only taking pay cuts disguised as a raise. Then they use this leverage to say, well, we gave you a raise. Actually no. They fucked you. You need to talk about how much you make to everyone at the workplace. Make it clear what the company values you as and cross-check it with other people who work there. You have self-respect. You deserve it. You own it. Companies will demand it and claim it as theirs, but it's not. It's yours and you deserve to be treated like a human being, not as a wage slave. Women shaving body hair, plastic surgery and anti-aging products. 25-year-olds getting fucking preventative Botox is insane. Valentine's Day, celebrating the beheading of a priest. Monocropped farm fields and factory farms produce food more efficiently than any other farming methods. No. You can produce more food per acre with a polyculture field or forest garden for minimal to zero use of fossil fuels. As an example, check out the Three Sisters planting method. Corn, squash and beans can be grown all on top of each other. As for factory farms, an animal needs to eat the same amount of food whether they are crammed into a building or out on pasture. And again, a cornfield grown only corn is a lot less efficient than one that also grows squash and beans in the same exact space. You just can't use tractors and throw money and fossil fuels at it so it doesn't consolidate money. For the rich, you actually have to pay more people to harvest, which we can't have. Our current agricultural system only makes the rich richer and everyone less healthy. That light bulbs have to burn out. When they were first made, they didn't go out, but they were manufactured to go out due to making more sales. You having a carbon footprint, we all have one. But the average person's is so small compared to corporations. You're made to feel bad about yours, while they just go on using mass amounts of energy and polluting massively the entire financial system. Credit cards, debt, loans, mortgages, stocks, bonds, fiat currencies, the value of anything and everything. That you must buy a brand new Apple phone no matter what every single year. No, you don't. You've been brainwashed. This hyper-focus on corporations being an all-encompassing capitalist boogeyman. Corporations don't exist. They're just a legal fiction that allows people to make money while limiting their liability for whatever actions they took to make that money. Every time you complain about corporations, you're not talking about those specific people. You're not naming them. You're not discussing their actions. You're not holding them accountable, either individually or as a group. That group being the obscenely wealthy, not people who own interests in corporations, which would encompass just about anyone with any money invested in the stock market. The last thing these people want is for you to know who they are, where they live, what they have, and how they got it. By getting you to instead focus on corporations, they're making sure you never focus on them. Pharmaceutical companies. Seems like everyone forgot all about OxyContin. That the divide between rich and poor is imaginable. It's not. People like Ken Griffin have $25+ billion in personal wealth. He can spend $500,000 plus every day for next 100 years and still won't run out of money. The belief that people usually sue companies over stupid and obvious things as a way to get money. The most well-known one is when a lady sued McDonald's because her coffee was hot, and as a result, cups have a warning caution. Contents are hot. Nowadays, the lawsuit is seen as a joke, like obviously if you order hot coffee, the coffee is going to be hot. But she sustained third-degree burns and had to get skin grafts because the coffee was 180 degrees Fahrenheit in. Way hotter than coffee was supposed to be. Plus, McDonald's ignored hundreds complaints and safety concerns prior. Anti-nuclear power sentiment. Poverty. They've normalized not paying enough for the average person to be able to live. Jaywalking. It was never a crime to walk in the street before cars. Cars were invented, and there were a shocking number of car on pedestrian accidents, so the auto industry lobbied to make jaywalking illegal. Environmental collapse is not because you didn't properly sort our plastics. Corporations push this narrative so they don't have to switch to truly sustainable packaging. Push for compostable packaging. By the way, biodegradable is not the same as compostable. Biodegradable just means it breaks down naturally. What's it breaking down to? Compostable is biodegradable and breaks down into components that nature can recycle effectively. What is something that's considered normal today but is actually a successful propaganda made by corporations? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more.